Hydaelyn is made up of 5 main continents: Aldenard, Ilsabard, Othard, Eorzea, and the New World. The first 3 of these are connected to one another by land and collectively known as the 3 Great Continents. Eorzea is separated from the main continents by the southern seas, while the New World lies far to the west across Indigo Deep. Regional folklore claims that Aldenard, Ilsabard, and Othard were once inseparable brothers. However, Ilsabard and Othard grew jealous of Aldenard for, despite being the youngest, he possessed the richest lands. In a fit of anger, the brothers pulled themselves away from Aldenard to where they now stand, Aldenard's outstretched hand clinging to Ilsabard's coattail, trying to bring him back. Several continents and other outlying islands are further grouped or broken up into geographical regions including Eorzea, the Near East, the Far East, the Old World, and the Southern Islands. The realm of Eorzea comprises the continent of Aldenard and its surrounding islands. Much of northern Aldenard is dominated by a vast mountain range known as Abalathia's Spine, which stretches from Dravania in the west to Girabania in the east, fully encompassing the highlands of Coerthas, canyons of Zelfatol, and the volcanic Far Reach. Girabania is a barren and harsh land, home to the martial city-state of Ala Migo. Coerthas is home to the Holy See of Ishgard, a formerly alpine climate that has fallen victim to constant ice and snow since the 7th Umbral Calamity. 10 years ago, a colony of Charlayan also existed in Dravania, but the scholars abandoned their city-state in response to the threat of Garlean aggression. Over the mountains of Abalathia's Spine is a series of countless floating islands known as the Sea of Clouds, which includes the Diadem and the Lost Allegan Research Facility of Azizla. At the heart of Aldenard lies Lake Silvertear in Mordona, to the west of which is the Yefem Saltmoor. Mordona was lush and fertile until the Battle of Silvertear Skies was waged 10 years ago. It has since become a crystalline wasteland characterized by noxious fumes and dangerous monsters. 3,000 years ago, Yefem was home to the black magic civilization of Mach. Aldenar's southeastern regions are made up of a massive forest known as the Black Shroud, controlled by Gridania, and the Almaja homeland of Palgilthan. The Black Shroud, or Twelveswood to its inhabitants, is full of various flora and fauna, and controlled by the elementals who provide it vitally. Beneath the shroud are a complex network of now abandoned cave systems that once made up the city-state of Gelmora. Much of southern Aldenard is taken up by an expanse of deserts, the most notable of which is Thanalan, home to the Sultanate of Ul'dah. Though it lacks in agricultural resources, the presence of the so-called Jewel of the Desert provides a land with wealth beyond that of the other regions of Eorzea. The region is also home to a sizable amount of mineral deposits and a wealth of ceruleum. The Sigoli Desert and the Grand Wake are other examples of deserts in the region. West of Thanalan lies the Cartanu Flats, ground zero of the 7th Umbral Calamity, now used by the Grand Companies as a staging ground for elaborate but non-fatal war games. Vilbrand is the largest island in Eorzea, located off its western coast across the Strait of Murthor. The southern half of Vilbrand, La Nosea, is the domain of Limsa Laminza. The island's northern half around the volcanic Ogomoro is the domain of the Kobolds. Other islands within the realm include the Ciel-Delays, a tropical archipelago south of Vilbrand, and both Maslea and the purling waters of the Rothlit Sound off of Aldenard's eastern coast. Ilsabard is the largest of the 3 great continents. While little is currently known about the region, It is known as Southern Ilsabard, and the surrounding islands make up the region known as the Near East. The most notable locations in the region are Garlemald, capital of the Garlean Empire that controls the whole of the mainland, and Radzat Hand on the island of Thavnair on the southern coast, the city-state credited with giving birth to modern alchemy. Other civilizations on mainland Ilsabard include Bosja, located near its border with Othard, and once home to Bosja Citadel, and a nation of Corvos, home to famed swordsmen. Nearby islands include Cape Meti, and various islands in the treacherous waters of the Drown and the Siren Song Sea. The Far East encompasses Othard and its surrounding islands. It is home to the nations of Doma and Hingashi, as well as the former kingdom of Dalmasca to the south. The mainland is largely divided between the civilizations in its southern and northern halves. Northern Othard is home to a massive river known as the One River, which wends its way from the Tail Mountains in the north, through the vast Azim Steppe, and through the lands of Eorzea, separating the lands of Doma from the Fanged Crescent. Because of the One River, Eorzea historically enjoyed lush and fertile lands, and its mountains have a unique, pillar-like shape threaded through its fields. The Azim Steppe is the ancestral homeland of the Alra race. Though the rain left these lands long ago, the Zayla tribes still call it home. A large, flat expanse of grassland, the steppe is known for its chill winds, savage beasts, and impressive warriors. To its west is the Nama Desert, a bleak and inhospitable land nonetheless inhabited by Zayla tribes who have adapted to the harsh environment. Northeast of the steppe are the coastal Araz region and the Rakir Peninsula, while to the northwest are the peaks of the Tail Mountains and tundras of the Dalvalan Groth. At the center of Othard is a permanently barren wasteland known as the Burn. Solus Salsgalvus sowed the state of this region on a succession of primal summonings, which inspired his declaration that any who summon such Acons must be subjugated by the Garlean Empire. The Scatay Range forms the southern border with the Burn. The forested foothills far side of the mountain range's western terminus are home to the Vina clan of the Vera. Southwest of Eorzea is Nagzea, a sparsely populated region characterized by the heat and humidity of its subtropical climate and its near constant rain. Its dense jungles and swampy ground make for poor farmland, and it is yet to produce a historically significant nation. It fell to the Empire 3 years after Dalmasca as a stepping stone to the northern half of Othard. Southern Othard was once largely the domain of Dalmasca, with its capital Rabanastra in the heart of the vast Dalmasca Desert. It also controlled the large port city of Valnain to the southwest, in the lush lands east of Greylick's Bend. At the center of the region is the vast Gomor jungle, home to the territorial Rava clan of Vera. 30 years ago, Dalmasca fell to the Garlean Empire, separating the deserts in Rabanastre into Dalmasca Superior, while the Gomor jungle of Valnain became known as Dalmasca Inferior. The most notable islands near Othard are the archipelago that makes up the nation of Hingashi. The Hingan capital of Bokyo is located southwest of the massive mountain Daitenzan. Though this main island is off limits to almost all foreigners or Ichin, the smaller island of Shishu has opened a solitary port to foreign trade, the city of Kugain. The Bugyo has also opened a residential district for Ijin on the island of Shirogane. The body of water between Othard and Hingashi is the Ruby Sea, sometimes called the Ruby Tide. Historically, it is the domain of pirates known as the Confederacy, who are all but recognized as an official power in the Far East. Making their headquarters on Onokoro, they tax any ship seeking passage through their waters, but the Garlean Empire's technological superiority has seen their influence wane somewhat. developed in recent years. Onokoro is also home to Heaven on High, a mysterious tower that stretches far into the skies above. Beneath the waters of the Reisen Kaikyo is the village of Tamamizu, home to the Kojin of the Blue, a peaceful society who have used their magics to weave an impressive bubble around their underwater home, as they lack the ability to breathe underwater without aid. When a small group of Rayan arrived in the Ruby Sea long ago, seeking to flee the wars on the surface, the Kojin showed them how to perform these magics as well. Their underwater village of Sui no Sato is a refuge to its people, barring re-entry to those who choose to leave, and seeking to remain apart from the troubles of the surface. They are ruled by the Ruby Princess, Kurenai Shisu, whose palace in Shisu of the Violet Tides is located in the depths of the Turquoise Trench, far southwest of the village. Hell's Lid is another notable island near Rothard, thought to be the home of dangerous and powerful Oni. It is in fact home to the Four Lords, powerful auspices who protect the seal on a dangerous auspice named Koryu from within the Reisen Temple below. The seas south of Eorzea are dotted with countless tiny islands and are characterized by a warm, pleasant climate. These islands are the ancestral homeland of the Lalafels, whose catamaran-like ships allowed them to travel across the ocean to the great continents. Interaction between these isles and Eorzea is abundant, most of it going through Limsa Laminza's ports. The magic art of Arcanima originated on these islands. Located far to the south of the three great continents, Miracidia was home to the dragons of the Miracidian Horde over 5 millennia ago. When the Allagan Empire sought to conquer the continent, the Dawnworm Bahamut fought and died to defend his homeland. The ensuing war ravaged Miracidia, a succession of primal summonings depleting the land's aether. While some areas still remain uninhabitable even today, those which have been repopulated remain recluse and shun contact with the civilizations of the Northern Hemisphere, often attacking any who approach by sea or air. Little of the region is known, including geographical information, but it is known that migrating Mikoti tribes brought sesame seeds from the southern continent. The islands that dot the northern empty comprise the Old World. Most prominent among these are the 5 islands of Charlayan, sometimes called Old Charlayan to distinguish it from the now defunct colony its scholars founded in Dravania. Apart from the main island of Charlayan, they also controlled the northern island of Ham, the southern island of Yorn, and the eastern isle of Val. The Ragadan homeland of Airsland, meaning First Land, is also located in the frigid northern seas, as is the island of Nagin, meaning Origin, which, according to old Ragadan legends, is the place from which all of the world originated. The New World was rediscovered by the Western world in 1500 of the 6th Astral Era by the explorer Ketenram the Blue, who initially wished to name it Ketenland. Ketenram met with the natives of the continent, visiting the nation of Mamuk and integrating himself with the Mamulja Artark. The Walaki tribe of Hayur also call the continent home, a tribe of Hayur said to be able to see into the souls of beasts and control their aether. Their traditions, as well as their blue clothing based on the ceruleum deposits in their native land, inspired the art of blue magic recently brought to Eorzea.